So we'll just go ahead and get started here, and time will start actually when we get to first control of the text box. Alright, so this is a spin-off game that actually takes place between Battle Network 1 and Battle Network 2. We're going to see here at the very beginning, this opening cutscene is basically the ending of Battle Network 1, where you fight Wily, you fight the World 3, and you fight the Life Virus. But unlike the Battle Network games, this is actually a platformer in the kind of like the classic style, but with a lot of Battle Network elements. So you're going to see stuff like battle chips, you'll see elements such as armors, just a lot of neat stuff that makes this a really cool run, but also a pretty difficult marathon run to do. So hopefully I'll be able to do it some justice.
Yeah, this is an incredibly punishing game. Just because of the mechanics that feature in this game, we'll explain them, and you'll probably realize pretty quick why it's so punishing to die. The funny thing about this opening cutscene is if anyone's seen a speedrun of Battle Network 1, you'll never see this guy in it. So we don't have no idea who he is, but he's gone now, so we can continue with the game.
Alright, so life is peaceful again 1 month later. So time is going to start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. Alright, so we got a few emails to read. We're going to go find Roll because she's missing on the net, unfortunately. And I'm going to do one quick thing before we actually get into the first stage. I'm actually going to enter my folder and actually reg a chip. So if Feke wants to explain how the chip system in this game works.
Yeah, so because there's a small tutorial right as you start the game, you always draw a cannon and a V-shot. So if you reg something else, say a sword, you will still draw that cannon. So we draw a sword, cannon, and V-shot, and we're always going to get that every time in this draw, which is pretty nice.
Oh, missed the 5th chip. You actually have to take all 5 chips for the tutorial, which is pretty funny. So regging is basically being able to set anything for the default chip, because normally you would draw 5 random chips. If you reg something, then you always have that in the first slot. And that's critical because there are a lot of tools that we're going to need that we want to reg, so that we are guaranteed to get them. So this first level is pretty simple. We're actually going to mostly grab lots of cannons, because cannons are very fast and efficient in the early game. Because we need a lot of them to get around stuff.
Yeah, unlike normal Battle Network games, cannons are way better. Very good. There's a lot of bars on the screen. The green one to the right of his yellow bar, which is his health, is his MP bar, MB, whatever it's called. And basically that goes down as he uses chips. So you could run out and then you won't be able to attack with anything but your Buster, which is really bad.
Yeah, the Buster right now, for a reference, Buster does 3 damage a hit right now. Cannon does 40 in one shot.
Yeah. Buster is just completely useless in this game.
Well,
so you need to use
for a while.
Not for a while. We'll get to that, but at the start it's useless.
Yeah, so the cannons are going to be our main workhorse. We've got some other chips we can use. But for the most part, it's just very precise platforming and cannon collecting.
Yeah. This is pretty similar to movement-wise to the later Mega Man classic games. You have a charge buster, but you don't start off with the one. You have a slide, you can jump out the slide, unlike 6. It's nice.
Yeah, we're going to grab one backup chip right here. Backups are basically our extra lives. They upgrade our maximum life count, and those get refilled after every stage, so it's pretty nice. And it's right on the way, so it's good for a marathon too.
Yep.
So there's other upgrades too. There's HP memories, mem-ups, reg-ups, Buster power-ups, and armors. And we're actually going to get heat armor right here from Roll. So armors are pretty simple. They just block half the damage from whatever element that it would protect from. That's very useful for the first boss, because otherwise we get two-shotted. And anybody who's played this game casually knows that the first boss is a butt.
Yeah,
this guy right here.
When I've streamed this game, a lot of people have told me they quit on this boss, which I don't even blame them. This one's pretty mean for a first boss.
Yeah, it's a recurring theme for the first, 3 bosses we're going to see in this run. If you manage to get past this guy, this next guy is probably where you quit.
Yeah, thankfully, because of the sword we regged earlier, there's a bit of a thing you can do on this boss that makes him kind of a joke. As long as you don't miss any swords, anyway.
Oh, I've had my share of missed swords, and that's a fun time.
You might be able to see that some enemies are dropping these things on the ground. Those are battle chips. Say when he destroys a cannon, it drops a cannon chip for him to use. You can have up to 30 cannons, but the amount you can have depends on the chip.
Yeah, and they refresh. Yeah.
Platforms.
Yeah, they refresh every time you start a new level, so that's why we want to stock up where we can.
Yeah.
Alright, so here's Fireman right here. So we want him to throw the Body Blaze out. It's random if he does that or the Firearm. But Body Blaze is a little bit faster. Oh, I just missed the first sword, so that's a good start. Okay, well, I have Longsword as a backup. I got lucky. So that's how the random draw can definitely help you, because I had a backup because I missed that first sword.
I thought you was going to dash for him.
That would have been scary. I could have done that for swag, but there's enough swag in this game, because every time you slide, Mega Man kind of does a swaggy
Mini
slide. He does that dab, so you're going to see the swaggiest Mega Man game ever, because you're going to see nothing but an hour of constant dabs on slides.
This section here, where we go back to Neto or Lan, you don't really do anything here unlike the other BN games. He's just stuck in his room and you just use it to menu.
Alright, so plot-wise, Fireman went berserk due to a virus, like supposedly a vaccine that Match installed. And we're gonna go try and find out the source of that vaccine. So we have plenty of cannons for this segment, but this level's pretty tight on MP. Because it's a very long segment. We're gonna want to use a lot of swords for the boss fight at the end.
Yeah,
that freaking ratty.
The boss fight at the end has a ton of health.
There we go.
There's a lot of very annoying enemy types that are very difficult to hit and even more difficult to get past.
Yeah, I'm gonna be using very specific movements to make sure I get around enemies. Because I want to conserve MP where possible, because it's really tight. So a lot of the routing in this level is just being able to efficiently kill stuff or move around it.
Speaking of which, the spike wall we just got past is on a global cycle, I think. So if you're slow, you won't make it in time and have to wait. But ZELLLOO wasn't.
Just gotta go fast.
Why did they put that part in the game? Just the falling spike blocks.
There's a lot of interesting design choices in this game.
Yeah,
because this game was made by Arica instead of Capcom. You might know them for Tetris the Grandmaster. Why they got the reins to do this game, I don't know, and I'm not sure I want to know.
Yeah, they're also pretty well known for making the Street Fighter EX games. I hate this part here.
Yeah, this part's pretty tight.
That slide, I just miss it a lot of the time, so I usually just destroy it.
Alright, so we're gonna chase Starman, he goes away, so hopefully we're not gonna die to this this spiky right here. It can happen. It shouldn't, but it can. Okay, there we go.
Easy.
I just realized, kid, I never did Discord share. You can see everything okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm panicking so much about this run just because it's a very volatile run. If things go well, then you won't see that. If things go poorly and I die, then that's where the real fun begins.
Listen, we want real fun, so panic or don't panic. Wait.
Alright, so we got an email from Dex saying that Gutsman went berserk because he installed that vaccine, so we gotta go deal with him. So we're gonna grab a power-up on the way back. We're gonna grab 8 of the Buster power-ups so we can max out attack and charge later, because the Buster's junk right now, and we won't get use of it until about halfway through the game.
We get a lot of use of it, though, when we do.
Alright, so the random chip draw worked a little in my favor here. I do have Longsword, so there are some different boss strats that we can do just depending on what your randoms is. So I'm gonna go for a cannon, my 2 Longswords, and then we're going to hopefully reg sword in the middle of the fight and use that to deal the remaining damage. Because Gutsman has like 600 HP. It's a lot for this point in the game.
I usually get here with like empty MP as well, so I just have to sit there for ages fighting here.
Okay. We'll do the edit.
So right here, he's just regging sword, just because you can do that at any time. Just reg something and then open the like chip folder again. As long as your top bar, the blue one at the top, is full.
Yeah, it's such a long stage that it gets plenty of time to build up. That fight went pretty well.
Yeah, that was a good fight. I'm gonna bring it up now real quick. The amount of money that comes from bosses is based on your rank. This game has a ranking system for enemies. Sometimes the money can go out of bounds, which is pretty unfortunate. But when it doesn't, usually the money's gonna be fine.
And money's really tight in the first half of the game, so we need to not only do well on the fights, we need to also make sure it doesn't go out of bounds.
There's a ranking system on every enemy, not just bosses. That'll be important in like a few levels where we need a specific chip. I'll talk about that when it happens.
Yep.
Go here to bank stage.
Yeah, we could pick from 4 different stages at this point to try and save people, but going to the bank first is ideal because we don't need anything extra. And we can get the money and use that for other stages. So hey, look, it's Quickman. Bye-bye, Quickman. So this game does a lot of like references to the other classic Mega Man games, so you see Quickman here, I'm sure you can guess what's gonna happen in this stage if you've played Mega Man 2. Okay, it's not lasers, but I'm lying. Alright, so this
game also doesn't have a slow motion, not slow motion, a freeze time power up. Which doesn't help with this stage.
I missed my slide at first under that shield guy, so that was a little scary.
Yeah, if that shield guy hit him, he would have been deleted.
Alright, so if you manage to get past Fireman and Gutsman, you probably quit at this stage.
Yeah, so here's lasers.
But if you just go left and right, it's easy.
Yeah, you just have to memorize.
And if you manage to get past the stage, you probably quit on this boss fight.
Okay.
This is the most execution-heavy boss fight in the game, so I am gonna let Kid handle this one.
Okay, so NT has this gimmick of a lot of bosses having a block, and then they counter-attack. Quickman has a block mechanic where you have to shoot him first, and then hit him with a chip. Unfortunately, from being shot, he can then attack, go up in the air and attack, or just keep moving. So you have to react pretty fast to what he's going to do. This is why ZELLLOO is firing multiple buster shots at a time, just to make sure he actually...
That's probably the best pattern I've ever gotten on him.
Yeah, that was really nice.
He threw a lot of forward boomerangs, which is pretty easy to dodge, and it's the fastest thing he can do that you can counter, so really nice. So that at least gets one of the scary fights out of the way. So now that we have a ton of money, we can start using that for some other stuff. So we're going to make a shopping trip to Higsby's. So we want to buy...
yeah, Higsby sells sub-chips, which you can use from the menu, and chips, which you can sing the entire run.
Yep. So we're going to buy 1 unlocker and 4 heat V so that we have 5. You want to explain the different kinds of mystery data and why we need to open the purple one?
Yeah, so there's green mystery data, which contains a random item based on the area you're in. There's blue mystery data, which contains fixed items, and there's purple mystery data that also features fixed items, but you need an unlocker to open it up. So we buy an unlocker for this stage.
Yeah, and the purple in this level has the one of the buster power-ups, so that's why we pick up the unlocker. And it's like right on the way. I am grabbing this safety HP memory, because if I were to do a normal run, I would be two-shotted by this boss, and he's a very scary boss, so we want to have a little bit of security.
In the entire first half of the game, you just get two-shot by so many things, and that's kind of the same in a casual playthrough as well, because you don't have enough money to buy HP memories yet. Nice. I don't even bother going for that strat with the fishy. I hate that one.
It's a pretty dumb strat, but I figured out how to make it work. Alright, Garden 2. So we need a... We picked up 2 tree bombs earlier from the kill plants. We want to get 2 more here because we want 4. Alright, good. So now we just have the rest of the scary platforming.
Yeah, good.
So we'll grab our power-up right here.
Stage has some cool movement. I like this stage.
It's a cool stage.
You get to the spikes.
That's fine. I'm gonna take it a little safe here on the spikes.
Yeah.
Better safe than sorry here. Dying is very costly on this screen.
Using recovs is actually pretty costly in certain stages because it lowers your MP bar by quite a lot, which means you might not be able to kill the boss in a fast amount of time.
I was really afraid I was gonna miss that jump right there. Okay, so we're gonna do a quick folder edit. It's scary. We'll do a folder edit. We're gonna actually add Heat V into our folder, which is what we got from Higsby's shop, and this is gonna be used to kill Needleman off because Needleman's wood element, fire. All heat chips do double damage, and Heat V is just the best option we can have.
Yeah. This boss is another incredibly difficult one if you don't use Heat Vs.
Oh, he gave me the invincible attack.
Yeah, he has several attacks. He can jump in the air and throw needles down. He can just stand still, throw needles down, or he can do the invincible one like you saw where he spins.
Yeah, and like I said, if I don't have that safety HP memory, I get two-shotted by any of his attacks or contact damage, so it's a very scary fight. But hey, he's down.
Yep. That was Yai's Gardener's Navi. I think in the anime it belongs to someone different, but I haven't seen it, so...
In the anime, it actually belongs to a Miss Yuri.
Which is, Lance teacher's sister or something,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, she has a pretty significant role in the anime. But
Where is Glide when you need him? Funny fact, Glide is not even a portrait in this game. He doesn't appear anywhere.
I know, it's so sad. Alright, so we went and got Elect Blades for the boss in this stage. But we need to actually rely a bit on random draw at the beginning, because I still have the Heat Vs regged. I'm going to use that for farming in this stage,
Wow,
but so I
you
need to
got a
roll in some
cannon.
other stuff.
Yeah, getting a cannon here is really lucky.
Well, not only that, I also got Repair and Shockwave, so I can delay my folder edit to way later.
Right here, we're, farming double jumps using the Heat V, because the ranking system I said earlier, which decides the chip drops for you, but because they're only on screen for like a second, we get a high enough rank every time.
Yeah, and we want 10 of these. These penguins drop double jump, or doob jump as it's called.
I feel like saying Glide appears in the game because it's on the intermission pictures. It's kind of cheating, especially since most of the intermission pictures are Battle
Hold on,
Network
I'm gonna
2
wait.
promotional art. Yeah, these bears, they do quite a bit of damage, just a little.
Yeah, they do a lot. So if I missed that jump, I would have died, which happened actually on the last marathon run of this I did. Alright, so Iceman went berserk. Yeah, Repair, this is actually the one use for Repair an entire run, so this is actually pretty nice to draw. So there would normally be a big Yoku block section, where you'd just be waiting and waiting, but we have Repair, which actually just opens all of them up, and we can just go through this really fast.
Yep. Repair's a pretty neat chip. It's very unique. It's just a shame that it doesn't really matter that much in this game.
Oh, it really doesn't, unfortunately.
Most of the Yoku block sections are really easy, even for a casual player.
Or if you want to find those extra EX codes
Do you
that are
usually
referenced
pick up
in-game.
Oh yeah, I guess you would. I haven't been picking up the HP memory. I should probably do that.
Yeah, it's a convenient one to get. So, by the way, this mini-boss sucks.
Oh yeah, if you don't have Shockwave, this boss will probably take you like 5 minutes. It's so stupid.
Yeah, each form of the giant Puffy has 120 HP, and that includes the small ones.
Yeah.
It is awful.
Shockwave is pretty much necessary for this fight because of the amount of, like, multi-hits. It's 2 cannons to kill that tiny thing. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Mini Bomb and Low Bomb are good too if you
Yeah.
draw them.
They multi-hit too.
Okay, I need to do my folder edit now, because we've got a pretty
Throwing
significant
in
folder edit.
Elect Blade.
Yeah, Electric Bomb 1, Elect Blade, Bub V, and Double Jump, and we're gonna reg Elect Blade. I also wanted to get a lot of Bub Vs during that fight, because I need them for later. And this death is intentional. This death warps us back up. So not only is it faster, we also have full HP, full MP, and we can draw from our folder immediately, so we can just use the Elect Blades that we just set.
Yeah, very convenient. This is the only time a death abuse is really done in this run, but that's a pretty nice one.
Alright.
Yet another bear just for the boss.
Okay, so Iceman is actually really scary, so either he's gonna die fast, or I'm going to die.
The leg blades, he's pretty consistent though. He mostly just runs back and forth, which hopefully he'll do here.
Well, thankfully he didn't do the attack that actually scares me, and the money just went out of bounds.
Nice.
Always great.
Well, at least it was only one.
It was only one coin, thankfully.
That's so dumb.
I know. It's so silly. Good programming in this game.
But yeah, Iceman is another boss that will two-shot you.
Yeah.
least
To be
pretty
fair,
quickly.
this game's... Yeah, to be fair, this game actually is pretty solidly programmed. There's not really a whole lot in terms of, like, glitches or anything.
Nope.
This level's pretty simple up to the boss fight, so this is actually a good time to get some donations in if you have some.
Let's take a look here. Alright, nothing yet, so I'll just take a moment to remind everyone that the Odin Sphere run is going to be after this one. There is a bid war for that to pick the character route. We are currently at $5 each on Gwendolyn or Velvet, so $1 will bump either one of those ahead, or if you want to lay down 6, you've got choices of Cornelius, Mercedes, or Oswald. Doesn't want to do, you say?
Alright, so we're coming up to the boss after this laser section. Vakid should explain how this boss should work, and how it's not going to.
So, Brightman is another very, very stupid boss. I'm not kidding when I say I actually don't know how you're really intended to fight him, but this works pretty well. Here's another boss where you have to shoot him first, and then he does a counter attack, and then you should be able to hit him with something. But there's a trick where you fire a shot over his head, he goes into a cower animation, and then as he returns back to his normal animation, he loses his invincibility with his barrier, so you can just throw tree bombs at him until he dies.
Yeah, that looked really easy. If anything on that goes wrong, it's bad times.
Yeah, no, it's real bad.
Because he'll just block everything you try and do. And counter with, really hard to dodge lasers. Alright, so a little bit more plot right here. We're gonna try and go figure out where the Zero virus is happening, because everybody keeps getting infected. So we're gonna try and beat Proto Man to the punch. We get some emails. And I guess speaking of Zero virus and viruses in general, with COVID going out, you should be safe. You should be wearing your mask, you should be meeting virtually, and you should be fighting viruses. So be like Mega Man, because he does all three.
You know, C-Reg double jump there? That's gonna be our reg for 80 to 90% of the game. They're very, very useful chips for a speedrun.
Oh, I got Bub V in my draw, nice. Okay, so it says double jump, but you can chain as many of these in the air as long as you have MPs. So we're just going to skip the entirety of this first, area to avoid a huge backtrack.
Yeah, it lets you fly, which is pretty good in a platforming game. You just use this to skip the majority of the first half and tiny bit of the second half.
There's not too much that goes on in this level, but we can appreciate the really awesome music. This game has fantastic music.
Yeah, the music in this game is amazing, which is pretty funny because in reviews when this game came out, one of the biggest criticisms from reviewers was the music.
I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah,
This is for those of you that know your Bomani games, your music rhythm games. 2 of the 3 composers were Sampling Masters Mega and Sampling Masters Aya. So that explains the quality of the soundtrack very well.
I remember one phrase from a reviewer was generic hero or heroic music. I think it was.
Yeah, reviews for this game were not kind back in the day.
A lot of Mega Man reviews weren't kind to it though, because they were pumping out just a bunch of different Mega Man games of different series at the same time.
Alright, so we're coming up on Color Man, and this is a very scary fight, very aggravating.
It's also really funny because one of his counterattacks is just moving forward slightly, which is actually terrifying if he keeps doing it.
He's just going to try and, like, box me in. So we're going to hopefully not have that happen too much. I'm hoping for the forward ball toss here.
If we didn't get a lucky Bub V draw, we would have had to reg it here to beat him, because there's nothing else better for this boss, really.
Uh-oh, I missed the Bub V.
It's easier to just walk under the 5,000.
Okay. That was a little scary right there.
Yeah.
That is a pretty typical Color Man fight.
Pretty sure reviewers gave Alf a good score back in the day. Oh man, I hope they did.
But Alpha's amazing. It's like, you have to give it a good score. Anyways, that's that down. So we technically could have done Color Man or the next stage in whatever order. But we actually wanted the mem up from Color Man stage because coming up is the most difficult stage to balance MP on.
Yeah. There's a lot of dupe jump usage in this stage.
Not only do we have the dupe jumps happening, we also need tree bombs for the boss. So we have to balance our MP just right so that we can kill him fast. Because the longer you let that boss on screen, the scarier it's going to get. And he in particular is really scary because he has a lot of randomness in where his main attack goes.
Balancing MP is one of my favorite things about this game, like casually and speedrunning wise. But if you do run out and don't balance it well, it's kind of unfortunate because you're just stuck there until it comes back.
Yeah, this would be one of the most costly stages to die on just because I wouldn't have double jumps and I would be climbing ladders, which are very, very, very slow in this game.
In my opinion, this is the hardest stage in the game, at least if you're not using double jumps. There's a lot of just dumb gimmicks in this stage. You'll notice one of them is taken from Mega Man 1's Eggman stage, with this little part here.
Very vertically oriented stage.
Yeah.
It's like they love their throwbacks, but sometimes a little too much.
In my opinion, they made the stage harder. Ain't great. I hate these little electric lasers.
Yeah, the timing window to get through them is actually really tight.
Yeah, if you're wondering why ZELLLOO isn't just using double jumps to skip past this part, it's because he needs, well, 2 double jumps to get to the ladder here, and also he needs the megabytes to use the tree bombs on the boss at the end.
Yeah. I think I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to go for a 4 tree bomb strat instead of trying to do 3 in 2 shots. Because I'll have to wait a little longer, but Elecman's another gimmicky boss where he has blocking.
Another block counter attack boss. When you hit him after he's counter-attacked, he can either move forward or summon thunderclouds. He's just being really stupid right now. Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. I've actually seen him jump after an attack too. It's actually really scary because you don't expect that. Okay, so that's the first half of the game down, which is really nice because we're going to do a little bit of shopping and make the Buster actually useful. But plot-wise, at this point, we didn't find any actual information on the Zero Virus. But Mega Man ended up getting the Zero Virus. So we're going to do some cleanup, get some info on where the Zero account is, and then we're just going to go bust everything up and hopefully find a cure. So this part is just mostly plot, so if you have anything you want to plug or any donations, this is a perfect time.
Well, I don't think any new donations have come in, but if you have been paying close attention to the left-hand sidebar, you may have noticed that the host has magically shifted. Hello, everyone. I'm Ria, and I'm going to be filling in so that our previous host, Neon, can get some rest. Since it does not appear that there are any new donations to come in, I would just remind you that this edition of Speedrun Ragnarok is brought to you by the RPG Valkyries, and is supporting Take This. So if you do want to have if you would like to see me continue to struggle to speak so early in the morning, you can always donate, and I will try my best to get those donations read, assuming, of course, that they are friendly and safe for work.
Yes, please donate. We need some hype. It is 6:30 in the morning right here. We need some hype to get the day started.
I will have to pass on those. They're not good for my system. So. Thank you. I'm guessing that's Natara based on the voice, but I'm not 100%. One of those East Coasters, always trying to make it seem like their time zone is the only time zone that exists. Cursed Eastern time zone, you've had it too good for too long.
Feka, do you want to explain what I just did there, as far as routing?
Yep, so ZELLLOOO had just enough money there to buy all of the power-ups from Numberman, and then shove it all on his Buster in attack and charge, completely ignoring Rapid. That just lets you mash the button faster. This kind of changes how we play the game pretty substantially, because now we actually have a Buster that we can use, which is pretty good.
Yeah, and the reason we went to Global 3 first was because we actually activated a warp, so we can go directly to Global 3 from the map. So that's why we went to Global 3, then went to the shop, and then jacked out.
Go to the shop and jack out, and then just go back to the warp.
Anyways, we're up to the 2 hardest stages execution-wise, so I'm just gonna shut up.
Yeah, I always die in this stage. I hate it. Just double jump at the start, run out of MP pretty much immediately. And then you have to do a lot of really tight sliding and jumps here while charging your Buster. There's spikes all over the place. You've got to kill the high cannons, pick up the chips. Pick up a mem up here as well in the stage up there. There's spikes coming up here. There is a slight pixel you can stand on, but ZELLLOOO's just damage boosting through it. Hopefully this Buster shot hits. It does. There's a really annoying enemy here called an Aura Head, which we just double jump over the first one. And now we're out of MP again. And I actually don't know how they're doing this one, probably damage boosting. Yeah, damage boost slide. Okay, nice.
Yeah, the damage boost is, as long as you have enough HP, that is a completely safe strat. So anyways, you could see the Buster was just decimating everything because it does 90 damage on a full charge, and charges really fast.
Unfortunately, the Aura Head's shield has 100 HP, so we just barely can't break it with the Buster. Here's Swordman, he doesn't really do much. He beat Proto Man, as you can see, he's a very dangerous guy. He likes to sit there and sit there.
He actually did almost kill me in my PB, which is, if he does 3 fast attacks in a row, he can kill you. But you can see how powerful the Buster was, because unlike using chips, they don't trigger iframes or any kind of counterattack, which is why the Buster is so useful at this point.
For most bosses anyway. There's a couple exceptions, but generally. So the Aura Heads, I'm just going to explain again real quick. They have a barrier which requires straight up 100 damage to break. If you do less than that, then it won't break the barrier no matter how many times you hit it. There's also Scuttlebugs that have this mechanic, and they're both going to appear when your state is coming up. ZELLLOOO also bought 4 barriers there from Higsby and got a 5th one from an email earlier. We're going to use that throughout the run several times as well.
I don't think you get one from email. I'm pretty sure it's just you buy 5. I think you can get one extra from a green mystery data, but I don't think I read any emails that do that.
The bank, Higsby gives you a barrier, and bank gives you
fast gauge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I pick up the barrier from email in my run. I guess maybe I just missed it and you bottle from the shop.
That's fine. Alright, so here's the other execution heavy stage, so...
Yeah, another stage I just despise. The gimmick of this stage is just gravity, like messing with your jump. Oh. Sometimes jumps normal, sometimes it's short on the purple one. GMB.
That's a little bad. That's fine. I can get another M cannon later.
Yeah, we want 5 M cannons, ideally.
We get our last reg up right there. We didn't actually explain what the reg ups do. If you want to explain that real quick.
Right. Yeah, each chip has their own like memory value, which is how much of the green bar it takes away, and also how much it requires to reg. You can increase the amount of reg memory you have with those reg ups, which allows you to reg more damaging, like higher chips. I think we pick up 32 in like
yeah, 32. Run. 32 max.
Yeah, and each reg up gives you 4 or so, I forget.
8.
Okay, double what I said, close enough.
Alright, so we're going to do that folder edit right there because I want to have barrier right here. So I have barrier for this last stretch of the level, and I also put an M cannon and high cannon, which will be useful later.
Yeah, M cannon's always just a nice thing to draw as well. Usually speeds up bosses slightly.
Yeah, I actually did draw M cannon for this fight right here, so I might be able to use it to speed up. As this boss is a boss.
Yeah, Lan points out that he seems to be missing any AI, which... Or he says it's very basic AI, I think. So he
that's
just
bad.
Kind of sits there and throws these gravity balls. Oh,
that was a little sketchy. I didn't die, but that was a little sketchy.
Yeah. You can either do that or does this thing where he tries to suck you towards him, but you can just slide away from that.
Yeah, it's actually kind of hard to do in the corner just because you have so little room, so it's actually got to be a little tight. Oh, I need a reg. I always forget this one for some reason. I need dupe jump for next stage. Yes, must destroy is all that he knows.
It's also a chonky toy in Lan's room.
Yeah, every time you beat a new boss in this game, you actually get a figurine in Lan's room of them. So I don't know where he's 3D printing of that.
Gigantic.
Well, Lan must not be very rich because he doesn't 3D print life virus at the end of the game. Anyway, this stage is generally pretty chill, but it has a really annoying mini boss. I did draw Heat V, which is nice, so I don't have to reg for something useful if I do the strat right. But the problem is actually doing the strat right. We'll detour for just a couple of HP memories. Because as far as HP memory routing goes in this game, we want at least 300 HP by the time we get to the last stage, because I have to take 2 damage boosts. And enemy damage in this game scales a lot.
Yeah. Definitely intend for you to pick up a lot more HP memories than we do in the run.
You want to explain how terrible this mini-boss is? Like, how it actually works?
The mini-boss coming up here, like, he has a tiny hitbox in the middle, but he has giant hitboxes on the outside that will block your shots. So to get past that, we just use Bubble or Heat V to fire, and then it goes through his hitbox and hits his tiny one in the middle.
That worked out perfectly. Nice. That's a lot tighter than it looks to do the fast strat. Alright. Now we deal with the most annoying mini-boss, now we get one of the most annoying bosses in the game.
Yes. A lot of bosses from this point in the game have completely undodgeable attacks, which they can just do randomly. Starman is one of them. Hopefully he doesn't. ZELLLOO does this really cool strat at the start where he just half charges and keeps making Starman counterattack.
Well, I'm glad I had that M cannon, because that was a little scary, but that was fast.
They did one undodgeable attack, but that was a fast fight.
Yeah, if you're very lucky, you can either slide under it right as he starts, or stay on the far side and pray you can jump over the last. But usually, like 80% of the time, that doesn't happen. You just get hit.
It depends where Starman's initial position was. Can double jump over it, or use a barrier, but there were no barriers in that draw.
Yep. Speaking of barriers and annoying bosses...
Yes. So, this is... I would consider this to be the dumbest design fight in the game, even though it is one of the cooler boss designs. Zero has... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, Zero has a move called Phantom Zero, which covers the entire screen and does like 300 damage, which is an interesting design decision. They want you to use barriers and invis at this point in the game, I guess, so just threw stuff like that at you since you had that ability.
Yeah, like the waves are literally undodgeable. They cover the entire screen, and there's 2 of them.
Yeah, no, you cannot dodge it at all.
Yeah,
you have to use an invincibility chip of some sort.
And the worst part is that he can chain this over and over, too. Like, if he decides to chain it 7 times in a row, I've run out of barriers, and I'm screwed.
Yeah, that's happened to everybody that's run this game a significant amount. He just chains them together until you die.
Alright, well, we'll see how nice he is. I want to try and keep him in the loop of just making him block, teleporting, and then Ultimate Buster.
This is yet another boss which has block counterattack, so we just take advantage of that. Sometimes when he blocks, he just stands there, and you have to shoot him again. Other times he'll teleport to you and do a sword slash, and you can just slide under his legs, or away from him.
It's all up to luck. I'm gonna use a half energy just to be safe. I don't know if I'm gonna get damage boosted here. Okay.
Looks
fine. So he actually did not use Phantom Zero at all, which is very fortunate luck. So that's... I wish my fight could have been that good in my PB. Yeah, so unfortunately, Zero has to die, because it's 80%.
A bad ending and a good ending in this game, but good endings are like about a minute slower. You have to go out your way and pick up source data. But we don't have that, so Zero has to die because he's spreading the Zero virus.
It's not even that much change. He just like appears in the final cutscene for a little bit, and that's it.
He doesn't die here, appears in the final cutscene, and he gives you his chip if you spare him.
So Zero wasn't behind it. Yeah, it turns out this guy called the Professor, very original name, was actually behind everything, using the Zero virus vaccine sales to fund a new life virus. So now we have to go find out where the life virus is.
Actually forgot that was the plot, to be honest. Forgot why he was making the virus chips. Or vaccine chips. Whatever they were.
Yes, this is the anime opening. They use it as the hero theme. You get to hear it twice, which is awesome.
Is there a chance for me to step in?
Hey, we told you this was an amazing soundtrack. That's like one of the main reasons.
Yeah, this is a good chance for you to step in.
Well, it doesn't seem like there are any new donations to come in. However, I will point out that after this run finishes, the next run is Odin Sphere Life Thracier, and I probably butchered the last word there. But there is an incentive to pick the character route that we're going to need to have fulfilled by the time that the run begins. Currently, Gwendolyn and Velvet are both tied at $5, which means that at present we cannot begin that game until somebody donates. So if you don't want to see a standing by waiting for the next run screen for an indefinite period of time, then I hope somebody will come in and break that tie, or donate for one of the other 3 characters, Cornelius, Mercedes, and Oswald, all of whom have $0, so you need to donate at least $6 in order to get one of those three to be in the lead. But we've got about, looks like, 25 odd minutes left for that. So please go ahead and get those donations in. We'd really appreciate it to help us not fall further behind on schedule.
All right, so we tried to go to the undernet, and unfortunately, there's a trap on the undernet portal that's like, hey, we're going to send you to a different place. So we're going to look for ways to get around that.
Yeah, we just talked to Proto Man there. Yai gives you advice, I think, or something, how to get into the internet. And Lan's like, Mega Man, you have to act meaner. And then he tells the guard, I'll stab you, rar. And that gets him past pretty easily.
Yeah, the thought of like Mega Man, like this Mega Man, just saying "I'll stab you, rar" in his voice is the most amusing thing to me. It's unfortunate that I ended up skipping past that. I should have read it.
You buy 3 mem-ups there, and then a HP memory?
Yeah, because I didn't get the mem up on the first trip when I got the power ups. I was actually low on cash.
Ah, okay. I didn't notice that. If I did, I just thought that was part of your route.
Alright, so this is what the internet looked like in the, like, BC days.
Yep.
This is also, like, the best track for me. Yeah, best theme in the game right here.
Starman's my favorite, but this is the second favorite for me.
There we go.
Wonderswan also has a Pharaoh Man stage, and it's also the best theme in that game. It's also the only good theme in that game.
Pardon me.
That sounds about right.
So there's these ghosts here, they just teleport randomly, and at least for me, they can literally just teleport into Mega Man while you're trying to slide past them.
Yeah, the spookies are a little nasty. I'm gonna do a bit of a safe strat. I'm gonna use this Heat V to get rid of the plants so I have an extra barrier, because we're gonna reg barrier in this next section.
Yeah.
I almost got hit by the tree bomb, and I would have been very sad. Oh, nice, I got Mega Cannon in my draw. That's good for later.
Yep.
Because the boss coming up has the most HP out of anything in the game. It has 1,000 HP, so Mega Cannon's a nice way to finish that fight off.
Well, Life Virus has more, right?
Life Virus, yeah, it has 1,000 as well.
Okay, same amount.
But most of the stage is pretty simple. You just kind of bury your way around and just slide through everything. And you just get to enjoy the awesome music in this stage.
I like this part of the stage here where they just like jump up these poles for some reason.
Look, you gotta have arm day at some point, even if you're a freaking virtual mummy. So we're gonna hope he doesn't drop any Anubis statues on me, because that's definitely the most costly attack to deal with.
Yeah, if he drops these purple-looking statues, you need to shoot it 3 times, which takes just forever, and also does a lot of damage. But he did.
Yeah, he didn't do much of anything. Like, Pharaoh Man, usually, he can be tame, or he can drop 3 Anubises in a row.
Yeah.
Okay, so there wasn't anything terribly useful in that stage, other than old data, so we saved that for later. We're gonna do one...
But definitely seems to be going better than practice.
Thank goodness. So we're gonna do one final folder edit. We're actually gonna do Star Arrow. Do you want to explain about, like, the boss weapons and what Star Arrow is gonna do here?
Yeah, so... Yeah, when you beat bosses, they give you their chip. Unfortunately, most of them are just bad, or at least not useful in the run, because you can only use one of them, and then they get taken up. They still get regenerated along with all your other chips, but Star Arrow works the same as Mega Man 5's Arrow, so we make use of that in this stage to use a pretty cool trick.
Yeah, I had to get an extra M cannon since I didn't get 4 in Gravity's stage. Yeah, this is unfortunately the only use for Star on the entire game, but it's so useful that it's worth
Yes.
regging.
And it also looks cool,
If I do it right.
I believe.
So we're gonna get on the arrow, we're gonna fire buster shots because it looks really funny. And we just outpace your buster shots. Faster than a speeding bullet. Mega Man is actually Superman.
Nice.
So the whole reason we do this is not only to skip all that, but we're actually trying to beat a cycle at the end of the level here.
Yes,
And it looks like we're... there we go.
For whatever reason, this stage is Gutsman inspired and has similar platform cycles.
Alright, so we're gonna reg M Cannon. You want to explain this boss?
Yeah, this boss sucks. I hate it. He's dumb. Shadow Man. He hides in the trees of an abandoned train, like whatever this place is. He does this thing where he goes up in the air, and there's 3 copies of him. One of them's real, and we try to shoot him in the air with an M cannon before he hits us, which is really tight. But oh my god, he's being so mean too.
Yeah, he gave me the left side spawn every time.
Every time. I would have died like 3 times over there. Okay, easy.
Yeah, that stun lock with the M cannon's pretty tight.
If he timed any of those M cannons slightly wrong, he would have just been slashed in the face by a sword.
Yes, and that fight is extremely scary. If you try and fight him casually, he can block your shots. His attacks do a ton of damage, and they're really fast. And I've learned to fight him Buster only as a backup strat, just in case. I don't recommend doing it that way ever. Alright, so we're coming up on the last stage of the game right here. I'm gonna buy a few things to just make stuff easier. I'm gonna grab 1 extra half energy.
Yeah, I was about to say you should probably buy an extra half energy just in case.
Just in case. So now's the only time that we're gonna actually get to talk about program advances, so why don't you explain that?
The program advances is a carryover from the other Battle Network games on Game Boy Advance. If you choose 3 of a specific chip type in a row, Mega Man will feel something, and then it changes into a super powerful combo chip. You don't have to worry about codes in this game, so they don't have to be like AAA code. Since there are no codes, you just need to choose. What we're going to be doing is cannon, high cannon, and M cannon. They're very, very good, that specific program advance, because it gives you invincibility and allows you to spam M cannon, which, yeah, it's not very balanced in this game, so we'll be taking advantage of it. ZELLLOO uses fast gauge here to speed up the blue bar at the top in the middle. We're going to be milling through our deck looking for that M cannon, and hopefully some other chips as well.
Alright, it's all down to luck here, so... Let me reg M cannon since I didn't get anything in my draw. And what we're going to do is we're going to enter the custom screen, and then we're going to immediately...
At the end, it scares me.
Yeah, right. So I entered the custom screen once because if you don't select anything, however many chips that you didn't select, the max increases by that amount. Yeah. So now I have a max of 10. This is actually a pretty decent start. And now we're just going to cycle through our chips as fast as we can, hopefully get that last cannon.
Looked like...
Oh, that was very fast.
Yeah, this is really lucky.
Yeah, I didn't get hit V, but that's fine. We'll have Bub V in its place.
Yeah, I was about to say, Bub V is pretty much as good anyway.
Okay, so here's what firewalls look like.
This is in fact a firewall. Important note here that I found out like 2 days ago. You don't try to jump and cannon this as fast as possible because it actually has iframes. So ZELLLOO's doing that a little slower than it looks like he could, but that's intentional. Yeah,
the fastest you can do that fight is 8 shots in the first cycle and then 1 on the last. You just can't get enough in before the eye closes. And it has a lot of HP. It has like 1,000 HP. So here's our classic Mega Man refight section.
Mm-hmm. This is the one time the game is nice too. If you die here at any point, you will restart from the boss you were fighting. But we cannot die here because then we lose out on the M cannon PA, which is really, really bad for
between all the major sections of this of this like boss rush, you actually get a full chip folder and HP restore, which is good because we can actually just abuse Zeta Cannon 3 times for all these fights, which is really, really good.
This is the boss we would use Heat V's on if we drew the Needleman. But still pretty fast.
Uh-oh.
Oh no,
Okay.
I know what that means. Yep. Okay, so that's what Brightman does. He's able to play the video game. We have a backup. It's just a lot slower and more annoying.
Yeah, it still works.
Yeah. So imagine trying to do something like this if you didn't have any Buster power-ups. Yeah, that's how nightmarish it is.
Alright, Quick Man we use the Zeta Cannon on. It just speeds up the fight so much more using it here. Although some people like to use it on Elect Man instead.
Yeah, by some people I think he just means me, but I like using it on a leg man. Hey, leg man.
To be fair, Elect Man's really hard. You can also see Color Man is a lot less annoying when he doesn't get to counterattack. And then we have a loop for Elect Man because we have a full charge buster, so let me see if I can get this.
Yeah. The loop's pretty tight, and if you miss it, it's fine, but if he hits you, then it does like half of your HP or something crazy. I have died from messing up the loop before, so that's why I opted to just M-cannon him.
Yeah, it works out fine.
Yeah, finish him off throwing a tree bomb in his face, easy.
Yeah, I could have done that one cycle sooner, which happened in my PB too, but it's okay. Alright, so we're coming up to the end of the run right here. And it's like, oh no, Scuttles! But somehow Proto Man gets here in a flash.
Is there time for a quick...
And somehow Gutsman gets here in a flash. So we got all our friends, we got the power of friendship, blah blah blah. But the power of friendship is actually useful here because our most useful friend is actually Roll. Because Roll gives us a full recovery on our HP and our chips.
Donation... The final boss is about to come up, so after that would be a good time.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a pretty quick fight if you want to explain the strat on the first phase.
Yes, so ZELLLOO does a very precise, well, it's not that precise, but a precise rhythm here, where the M cannon destroys the 100 HP barrier, charges up a shot, and then M cannons again, and then he just sort of goes from Buster Charge to M cannon to finish it off before his barrier comes back up. Easy.
Alright, time is when this boss hits 0.
Yeah. This boss can only kill you by contact damage if you run into it. Has happened to me. I'm pretty sure it's happened to everyone. He does a boatload of damage, so don't run into it. And GG.
So I've got a 56.29 on my end for timer. I assume it's something around that, but that was an extremely good run for a marathon.
6:30.
Yeah, looks like
Very nice.
30 on the stream.
Yeah, that's very good. When I started running this game a little less than a year ago, the record was a 57:43, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I have brought the record down by 2 minutes since then. So there's just been a lot of stuff that's happened in terms of optimization. So very happy with how that run went because this is a very volatile run. If anything goes wrong, you are at the mercy of RNG and improv strats. Also, I've gotten 55, 56, 58, and 59. I've never gotten to 57, and I apparently never will. But, yeah, that's Mega Man Network Transmission.
Yep. That's Network Transmission.
Yeah, and if y'all want to learn this game or need to know anything, feel free to hit me up. I'll share whatever knowledge you need. Fat Kid, thank you for helping commentate. Shout outs to the Team BN crew for helping me support when I was doing my serious attempts at this, because I will be routing 100% for this game soon, so I got a lot of work to do, and I'm definitely excited to keep this game going, because this is a really fun game once you know what's going on. But I think we're about ready to get set up for the next run, so thank you all for watching, keep donating for Take This, and I will see you guys later.
Yep. Bye everyone, thanks.
Alright, well thank you for the run. It looks like we do have one donation that's come in from Harukaze, who says, Mega Man is our hero. Great run, ZELLLOOO. $5. We are still waiting on someone to generously break the tie for Odin Sphere Life Racer. Pick the character route that's going to be run. So you've got about, well, the time it takes to set up. Otherwise, we're going to be sitting here for a little bit until somebody manages to donate and allow us to move on with the marathon. So that is the next run. It will be coming up momentarily. I know that they are in the process of doing the cropping and getting the Ria stream set up for the upcoming run. So I just want to remind you, this is Speedrun Ragnarok 2020, brought to you by the RPG Valkyries in support of Take This. Take This is a mental health nonprofit, and their main mission is to inform the gaming community about mental health issues, provide education on different disorders and prevention techniques, and reduce the overall stigma around mental illness. You know, also I should point out, if you were to have your best puns, Ria puns or otherwise, now's a great time to get in those donations while we are at a lull in the action between runs.